What's going on there, YouTube? And welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are basically going to do a full story video. A full story video is when I basically sit down and combine a bunch of videos together into one big video that basically tells one huge story arc for a character or a team in a comic book. Now, of course, today it's going to be about Miss Marvel, because last summer when the show came out, we basically covered some books about Miss Marvel. We cover her origin all the way up to basically when Jonathan Hickman did Secret Wars. And of course, she was kind of affected by that event because her book was technically canceled, but of course it was relaunched after Secret Wars. But on our channel, we only covered up to basically the point of Secret Wars, which is Last Days. And so in this video, you're going to have her origin and leading up to the last days of Earth, which basically leads into Secret Wars. And so with that being said, I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video, because this was a very cool storyline for a character I really do care for a lot. And we actually might do more videos for this character down the road. Heck, might do it this summer and continue on with her story after Secret Wars. With that being said, here is Miss Marvel, her origin all the way up to the last days of Earth. So getting right into Miss Marvel #1, we actually pick up with Kamala Khan. Now the opening pages is really more of giving us an idea who is going to be around the character throughout these books. So for example, Bruno, her best guy best friend, Nakia, her best female or girl best friend, and then you also have two characters who are very popular in their high school, Zoe Zimmer and Josh. Those last two characters may seem like they're not going to be important, but actually they're going to be very important down the road. But the opening pages are really just us getting an idea of who is Kamala Khan and who are the characters around her that affect her life, are going to affect her life down the road. And so then we get a page that explains who is Miss Marvel, who is Kamala Khan. And so we learn right off the bat that Kamala Khan, she loves superheroes, especially the Avengers. But her main hero she loves is Captain Marvel, aka Carol Danvers, because at this point in Marvel Comics, Carol Danvers no longer goes by Miss Marvel. She now goes by Captain Marvel. Then we get into the family, and I honestly like this a whole lot because you're also learning the culture for Kamala Khan, but at the same time, you're still learning about the supporting characters that is going to be around her throughout these books. So for example, her family, her father Yusuf, her mother, I'm going to mispronounce this name, Muniba, and her brother Amir. Either way, I still like this because it's given us an idea what the family are like around Kamala Khan. But either way, though, you do have Kamala Khan ask her father Yusuf if she can go to a high school party that Josh, the guy we met earlier, is throwing. Now, her parents are strict but also very protective. They tell her, no, you can't go because there's boys and alcohol. Why in the world would I let you go to that? But of course, Kamala Khan does get upset because her dad says no and does not want to eat dinner and goes back to her room. Now, like most teenagers, and I said most, not all, you have Kamala Khan actually sneak out of the house to go to this party. Now, once she gets there, of course, she goes directly to the popular crowd, Zoe and Josh and their friends, because again, they are the two popular characters in this book right now. But of course, when she gets there, they're kind of like teasing her and also making fun of her because who she is and what her culture is like. And so, of course, now she's upset because she snuck out. she came to this party and no one is treating her correctly at all. They're all mean to her except her guy best friend, who is Bruno. Because Bruno is, I want to say, a year or two older than Kamala Khan. But Bruno is there. And he's like, why are you here, Kamala? You know that I know that your parents would not allow you to be here. You need to go back home because this party is full of jockheads and cheerleaders. Just go ahead and go home. Of course, she is upset at Bruno for kind of acting like this guardian. And so that is when she walks away. But right when she walks away, that is when the Terrigen Mist hits her and everyone else around her. And I'm going to explain what is the Terrigen Mist. So to explain the Terrigen Mist, I need to tell you right now, it is heavily tied into the Inhumans. The Inhumans are another sub-race on Earth. You have mutants, you have humans, and then you have the Inhumans. Now the Inhumans, they do have powers just like mutants, except for their powers to activate, they must be hit with the mist and then go through a process to activate their powers. Now here's the thing though, for a long time in the early days of Marvel Comics, the Inhumans did not use the mist so freely. It was only used for certain people here and there. But thanks to the Infinity Event, the mist was sent out all over the world as a cloud. And of course, with that thing being a cloud now, it was able to hit more people more oftenly, and of course, unlocking more Inhumans across the world. And so with that being said, when this mist or this cloud actually hit Kamala Khan, it unlocked her Inhuman genes, making her an Inhuman right off the bat and unlocking her powers. Now, she does begin to see things like Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and Captain America all being there in front of her, and she is confused because she has no idea why these three characters are right here in front of her right now. Of course, they're not really there, but this moment is really more of her talking to herself and realizing the mistake she made, which was sneaking out of her parents' house to go to that party only because she wants to fit in with the popular kids, but also because she feels like she is not normal or she's not living a normal life because she grew up here in New Jersey, but her family keep pushing their culture on her and she does not like that. But either way, you have the fake or spirit. Captain Marvel asks her, what does she want to be in life? And you have Kamala Khan tell this Captain Marvel, I want to be just like you. I want to be like you, a hero, a strong person. And again, remember, when it comes to Captain Marvel, Kamala Khan looks at her as her idol, someone she looks up to. Except after going through that moment where she began to see things, that is when she wakes up, she breaks out of her cocoon, meaning that her powers are now activated. But once she's out of that cocoon, that is the moment she realized that she now looks like Carol Danvers when Carol Danvers was still Miss Marvel, but also her body is somewhat stretched out, meaning that she's beginning to learn what her powers are, which right now she cannot control, but of course throughout this book she'll learn how to control it. So we do jump over to Miss Marvel number 2, where we actually pick up with Kamala Khan trying to control her powers, because like most heroes, when they first get their powers, they have a hard time controlling their powers. And so this is Kamala Khan trying to figure out how her powers work, trying to get it under her control because she wants to look normal before someone sees her and cause a scene. Of course, you do have Kamala Khan being able to control her powers, but that is the moment she realized that the mist, the Terrigen Mist that she was just hit with, did not just hit her area of the city, it hit all over the city. And matter of fact, she sees somebody flying towards the mist. Now it could be Iron Man, Captain Marvel, anybody who wears red in their outfit, it could be them flying towards the mist. But we have no idea who. But then we get into Kamala Khan's first heroic moment. And of course, she has to save the person who was just picking on her, which is Zoe Zimmer. Now, Zoe is not by herself. Zoe is actually with Josh on the dock. But because Josh is so drunk and because he kept moving her around all over the place, Zoe actually falls into the water. And because Zoe cannot swim, that means Kamala Khan has to save her. Also because Josh is drunk and he can't get in the water. But either way, you have Kamala Khan use her newfound powers as a way to save Zoe Zimmer. Now, when it comes to Kamala Khan and her abilities, she's able to shapeshift but also stretch her body. And so she does make her hand really big. She does change her appearance to look like Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers' Miss Marvel, and she's able to save Zoe Zimmer from drowning in the water. And of course, it's a huge thing for them, but also it's her realizing, oh my gosh, I just used my powers to save this person who I don't really like, but at the same time, I have powers. I can be a hero. But then she has to leave because she still does not know how to fully control her powers just yet. But then you have Kamala Khan realize how serious it is to be a hero, but also how great it is to be a hero. Yes, she feels happy that she was the one to save Zoe, not because she saved Zoe, this popular kid, but because she did something heroic. She saved someone from drowning in the water, which is great. But at the same time, she also realized that there is a lot of pressure being a hero. It's very tiring. There's so much you have to do, especially if you're a teenage superhero. But either way, you have Kamala Khan realize that it's probably best for her to go ahead and head home before her parents wake up and realize that she snuck out of the house. So of course, she does head back home. Now, of course, when she tries to sneak into her house, her powers are still wonky, meaning that she's unable to fully control her powers. So her body's kind of stretched out a tad bit, but also she still looks like Carol Danvers' Miss Marvel. And so when she tries to sneak in and tries to be quiet, with her being clumsy and her powers not working properly, she makes too much noise. Her brother walks in and she's freaking out because she thinks she still looks like Carol Danvers' Miss Marvel, only to find out her powers turned off. She looks normal and it's kind of like awkward moment. Now, this is Kamala Khan thinking that maybe her parents did not know that she snuck out. But then you have her brother say, oh no, they know you snuck out and they are right behind me and they are very, very upset that you snuck out. And so, of course, it does lead to her mom being the one yelling the most and walking off angry. And then her dad's like, you're grounded. You can only go to school and then come back home. And that is it. You are not allowed to go anywhere else at all. So, of course, she's now a grounded superhero teenager. But this is her realizing that maybe she could be more in life than just a regular girl in New Jersey. That maybe she could be a hero. So when we jump over to Miss Marvel number 3, we come to find out that New Jersey knows about her now. Now, they don't know that Kamala Khan is actually Miss Marvel. All they know is that there is someone out there who looked like Miss Marvel, and she just saved a teenager who almost drowned at the docks. Of course, that would be Zoe Zimmer. But either way, though, this makes Kamala Khan very worried. She's like, oh my gosh, Zoe told everyone, her friends told everyone, that there's some new superhero out in New Jersey. What am I going to do? Because she's afraid sooner or later they're going to figure out the new hero is her. But then at the same time, we get introduced to a new character, which is Bruno's brother. And so then we pick up with Kamala Khan being forced to go to her youth Saturday church service. Now, when she gets there, of course, she does not like it. Now, I'm not going to sit down and try to explain what this service is like because personally, I do not know much about the culture. And so I do not want to offend anyone at all. But either way, though, this is Kamala Khan, somebody who really does not feel close to her culture. She is trying to move away from the culture. But either way, though, you do have Nakia, one of her close friends, say, listen, I tried to text you 5 times and I got no answers. What happened last night? Matter of fact, let's leave. Let's go somewhere else. and talk because I want to know if you are okay. And so you have Nakia take Kamala Khan to Bruno's shop. Bruno works at a 7-Eleven, whatever. Now, this is the moment where we actually learn that Bruno was the one who called up Kamala's parents after the party, because remember, she went to that party, she saw Bruno there, but then she left. And so he got worried for her and he called her parents. And so that is how her parents found out that she was at the party. But also the fact now, Kamala Khan does not like her friend Bruno. She is very upset that he actually called her parents and told them where she was at. Now, of course, the next section is really more of Kamala Khan trying to go through school normally, because now she has powers and she has to make sure that her powers do not go out of control again, because she wants to make sure no one knows that she was the one at the docks that night using her powers to save Zoe. At the same time, though, again, we are introduced to the brother to Bruno, and his name is Vic. Vic is going to be somewhat important for this video and the next one too, I want to say. But either way though, you do have Kamala Khan trying to live a normal life, a normal school day. But of course, her powers do activate. And when she tries to hide from different school groups because her powers are now going out of control, that leads up to her actually destroying a locker room for the girls, because her powers made her stretch out, grow so big, all that stuff. So the roof is damaged, the lockers are damaged, the bench, whatever in that locker room is all damaged. And so of course, when the coach walks in, she's like, yo, what happened here? And Kamala Khan has no good excuse at all. But either way, you have the coach say, well, you now have detention now. And so after detention, Kamala Khan does get a text from Bruno, and it's him asking if they can finally talk, because he really has no idea why she is mad at him. Honestly, he should know why she's mad at him, but you do have Kamala Khan say, it's not fair for me to be mad at him. So yes, I'll go talk to Bruno. Now, with her saying that, she does go to Bruno's job, that corner 7-Eleven, wherever he works at. But either way, when she gets there, she sees someone else in a mask and with a gun. And so, of course, she assumes that this means Bruno is being held up at gunpoint, and she begins to freak out. Now, this is why I say Vic, the brother to Bruno, is going to be very important, because this is Vic. Vic is the one who's holding up his own brother's shop at gunpoint because he needs $100. That is it. Because, of course, we come to find out that he is working for someone called the Inventor. Yes, the Inventor. That's the bad guy we're going to meet very soon here. Now, of course, you do have Kamala Khan realize, hey, I have powers. I should probably use my powers as a way to actually, save my friend Bruno from this guy with the gun. She has no idea the guy with the gun is actually Vic. And so she does use her powers to change her appearance. She walks right into the shop and she begins the process to actually stopping Vic. Now, for Bruno, he has no idea this is Kamala Khan, because once again, she changed her appearance to look like Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel. But either way though, after a few pages where it seems that maybe she has everything under control and everything is going to be all right, that is the moment Vic Guns goes off and actually shoots her right in the stomach. And it's like, oh my gosh. Will she die right here? Now, after being shot, we jump over to Miss Marvel number 4. And this actually is very huge because we learn a tad bit more about Kamala Khan's new powers. And also, this is a big moment for Bruno because you have Bruno freaking out. He's like, oh my gosh, there's a hero that has been shot. He tells his brother Vic to go ahead and leave because if the cops show up, Vic is going to go to jail. But also, he's freaking out because there's now a superhero bleeding out in his store. But either way, this is the moment where you have Kamala Khan decided when Vic is gone to turn back into her regular self, to look like her usual Kamala Khan self. And that's when Bruno looks over and says, "Oh my God, you have powers." And like I said, this is a big moment because Bruno is the first person who learns about Kamala Khan's powers. And like I said, this is a big moment because this is the moment where you actually have Kamala Khan show that she has an healing factor, which is very huge to see. But also, this is the moment where you actually have Kamala Khan explain to Bruno where her powers came from. And we know where it came from. It came from the Terrican Mist. And so she kind of tells them that. But either way, you have the two of them realize they have to worry about that later because remember, Bruno called the cops, says someone got shot. So of course, the cops have arrived, and that means Kamala Khan must once again change before they walk in. And this leads into a funny moment because this is the moment where you have Kamala Khan realize that she can't just change her body to what she wants it to be because once again, she's healing. And so with her body healing, that means her other powers can't work. She can't change her appearance. She can't change the size of her body. She just has to heal up, which of course is a bad thing happening right now because the cops are about to walk in. And so you have Bruno hand Kamala Khan some kind of night mask. You know, the night mask that some folks wear at night to sleep in to basically cover up her face. So when the cops walk in, they're like, "Hey, we heard a hero got shot. What happened?" And Kamala Khan does use a tad bit of her powers behind this mask to say, "Listen, everything's okay. Yes, I'm that hero. If you don't believe me, here's my powers. Y'all can leave." And of course, the cops do leave after that. But then you have Bruno and Kamala Khan want to know where in the world did Vic get the gun from, but also the fact, who is this Inventor guy? Remember, Vic told Bruno that he is working for some guy known as the Inventor. And so you actually have Bruno and Kamala Khan realize they actually need to help out Vic before he gets into more trouble. The problem is Kamala Khan does not have a superhero costume just yet, which means we're about to get a superhero costume scene before she is able to actually help Vic out. And so, of course, we see her go back home to begin the process of creating her first costume. But here's the problem. Her mom is still mad at her. Remember, she is grounded for sneaking out earlier in our video. And so her mom is like, "You're still grounded. I'm still mad at you. And here you are at 10 o'clock at night looking for old clothes. You're not going anywhere. And if you try to sneak out one more time, I am going to get really upset with you, darling. So honestly, do not do anything you're going to regret. I will check up on you at 1 o'clock. And so it's like, oh my gosh, her mom is going to make sure her daughter is at home. And this is the moment where we actually see Kamala Khan being a hero. And what I mean by that is we actually see her go to a random house because Bruno got word that Vic has been staying at this house or been going to that house a lot lately. And also got word that Vic could be possibly being held hostage at this house. But either way, you have Kamala Khan actually go to this house in her first superhero costume and begin the process of beating up some henchmen, beating up some robots just to get to Vic. But honestly, this is the first time we get to see Miss Marvel trying to be a hero, trying to do the right thing, trying to learn how she should handle different kinds of situations. But either way, once she gets to Vic and thinks that she is about to leave, that is when she is confronted by the person who is in charge or second in charge, whatever, of this house that Vic's been going to. No, this is not the Inventor, but this is one of the top dogs of the Inventor, who's there saying, "Listen, I run this house and you're not going anywhere with Vic." But then we jump over to Miss Marvel number 5. And honestly, it picks up where the last issue left off at. So we do get the chance to see Miss Marvel have her first big superhero fight against this character who says he works for the Inventor, but kind of like one of the top dogs. His name is Doyle, but honestly, who cares? Either way, you do have Doyle begin to battle against Miss Marvel. And this battle is honestly pretty cool because it's Miss Marvel realizing that you can be a hero, but you're going to have to learn how to be a hero, meaning that you just can't jump right into being a hero and thinking that you are easily going to be able to win battles. You're going to have some losses, big and small ones. And of course, this one will be her first loss because she does get overwhelmed by all the robots and Doyle, who's holding some kind of laser gun. And so she has to leave Vic behind tonight just so she can recover and think of a new plan on how she's going to save Vic. And so you have Kamala Khan go back home. But remember, Kamala Khan's mother said that she will check up on Kamala Khan at 1 o'clock in the morning, meaning that she'll make sure that Kamala Khan did not sneak out again. Of course, with Kamala Khan coming home, it's 1:05. That means her mom had already came by and checked up on her. But for Kamala Khan, she thinks that her mom must have overslept past her alarm and she is okay. Of course, by the morning, her mom comes in angry and upset because she knows her daughter once again snuck out. Now, you have the father come in and say, listen, you two just calm down. Let me have a conversation with my daughter one-on-one. And honestly, I like this moment so much because this is the moment where you have the dad explain to Kamala Khan that she is his daughter. And that is why he's overprotective, why he cares so much for her, because he tells her, listen, you were a miracle child. The doctors told us after your brother, we could not have any more children. And that was hard for us to hear. And then here you come into the world. And that made you even more special to us. And your name, Kamala, actually means perfection in our language. And so for Kamala Khan's father, had a hard time there. Kamala Khan's father, he's like, I care for you because you are a miracle child. You are my daughter. And we live in the world where girls have so much more pressure than they did in the past in my time. And so I want to make sure you're always okay. And of course, he's like, you're still grounded, but hey, I love you. Bye. And he leaves. But once we get past that moment, that leads us into the moment where we get the training montage, where of course you have Kamala Khan go back to Bruno and say, listen, I need your help making a cool super suit, but also getting some training in. So I'll be ready to take back on Doyle and his crew of robots to save Vic. And so we do see Bruno and Kamala Khan work together, working on her costume, working on some training sessions. But of course, after a few pages, she's done training. She is ready to go. She is ready to go back in there, fight against Doyle, and actually be able to save Vic from Doyle and his crazy robots. And this moment right here is honestly pretty cool. I actually like this because once she gets back to Doyle's house to save Vic, and she is able to actually sneak in, fight against the robots, take care of the robots, and take care of Doyle just to be able to save Vic. I honestly like this moment so much because it's Marvel saying, listen, she is a hero, but she's a new hero, a new teenage superhero, and she has to learn the ropes to actually be a superhero. And so we're not going to give her some big bad guy for her first big fight. She has to work her way up to that bad guy or to a different bad guy. But either way, after a few pages of her fighting against the robots and fighting against Doyle, she's honestly able to save Vic and get the heck out of there. And so for her first adventure, Miss Marvel is actually able to save somebody's life and be a hero. And after that, that is the moment where you actually have Kamala Khan tell New Jersey that they have their own hero. And the reason why I say that is because when Bruno actually walks up to his old store, somebody put some kind of 6-foot-tall doll in front of his store as a way to say a message that New Jersey has their own hero. And then you have Kamala Khan appear, but in her complete Miss Marvel outfit, and says she is going to be around and she is going to be the hero for New Jersey, and leaves. But to close on this video, we actually pick up with Doyle one more time, and this time we see Doyle actually walking to some random house, and the reason why because he is going to meet up with the inventor to explain why he failed in keeping Vic as a hostage, and that is the moment we get our first look at the inventor. And honestly, he looks ridiculous as mess, but hey, he is the big bad guy behind everything going on in New Jersey. But so getting into Miss Marvel number 6, we actually pick up with her right now out in the city, patrolling the city to make sure that everything is okay. Now, when I say she is making sure everything is okay, it is really her just out there destroying the small robots that her new bad guy, the inventor, has been putting out in the city. Now, remember, we have not learned much about the inventor just yet. This book right here is going to give us the whole background story of this new bad guy for Miss Marvel. But either way, after Kamala Khan is able to get rid of some robots that he had placed in the city, that is when her brother calls and says, "Mom and Dad are looking for you. They're wondering where in the world are you? Oh, by the way, Dad wants you to go to church." Well, their version of church and their version of a pastor. I do not know how to pronounce those names, so please forgive me. I do not want to offend anyone's culture. But either way, of course you have the brother saying, "You need to come home and get ready to go to church tomorrow." So then you have Kamala Khan actually go see the pastor. Now, when she goes see the pastor, of course, the pastor tells her, "Hey, listen, your father has told me that something is going on with you. I don't know what, but I think I should know." Now, of course, Kamala Khan does not tell him anything, but she does tell him this, that she's out there in the city trying to help different people in different ways. But of course, she cannot tell the pastor how she is helping people. But then you have the pastor say, "Okay, well, at least I know you're doing something good." But Kamala Khan says, "Yeah, but I wish I had someone in my field, like some kind of mentor, to actually train me." And what she means by that is she wished she had another superhero who has been doing this for a long time actually there to actually help train her. And so she says, "I wish there was someone there." And the pastor says, "Listen, when you least expect it, that person could actually come in and actually help you. But it comes in when you least expect it." And of course, she does leave on a good note. She actually feels happy that her and her pastor had a good moment, because we learned that she always thought her pastor actually never did like her, but in reality, he cares for her. But either way, though, once she leaves the church hoping that a hero will come by and actually help train her, that is when she hears something coming from the sewers. And of course, she's like, "Yes, it's my time to be a hero. Let me go get my outfit from her friend Bruno." She does get her outfit from Bruno, and she does go into the sewers, which honestly, I kind of like this, because I feel like when it comes to new heroes in comics, one of the first things they have to do is go in the sewers, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm in the sewers. This is totally disgusting." But either way, though, once she gets into the sewers, that is the moment where she finds some kind of open space in the sewers that has a bunch of different alligators. But of course, these alligators have something on their head, which means that they are being controlled in some kind of manner. Now, this is the moment where you actually have Kamala Khan be confronted by the inventor. Now, the inventor is really not here. It's really actually just a hologram of him. But either way, though, you actually have him give Kamala Khan his background story, his origin story, where he says his name is Thomas Elliot. Now, that name should sound very familiar to you, because that is the name of someone who used to be a great American inventor. But he says, "I am a clone of that person. And reason why I look like a bird is because my assistant, the one who actually made me, well, he let some bird DNA get in the way of the process of making me. And so, of course, I came out like this bird-like man. But either way, though, you actually have the inventor say, I'm not going to kill you. I actually need you for my future projects. But before he is able to actually explain what he needs Miss Marvel for, that is the moment you have his assistant say someone else is in here with her. And that is the moment we see someone throw a sword through one of the controls that was controlling one of the crocodiles. And so, of course, Miss Marvel thinks, oh my gosh, I have to fight someone else besides these crocodiles. But actually, she is lucky because it's not someone she has to fight against, it's Wolverine. And no, she's not going to fight Wolverine. She's actually going to team up with Wolverine. This is going to be her first superhero team up, which is huge to say. Her first superhero team up with Wolverine, one of the greatest Marvel characters of all time. But either way, though, you actually have Wolverine wondering who in the world is this teenage girl in the sewers dressed like that and trying to fight against me and some crocodiles. What in the world is happening here? But of course, they have no time to talk because they do get attacked by some crocodiles. And so they have to work together to defeat the crocodiles. But once they do, they can actually sit down and have a conversation. And so you actually have the two of them explain why they're here, starting with Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel says, well, I'm here because this inventor guy is attacking my city. He attacked one of my best friend's brother, and I want to bring him in for the crimes he has committed in my city. And then you have Wolverine explain why he's here for. And he says, one of my students from my school, the Jean Grey School, had just disappeared. And all the clues tells me that she last appeared here, and also this inventor guy is the one behind everything. And so you have the two heroes decide to work together. But when they do go through a few more traps. They have to work together to overcome these traps. But that is the moment where you have Miss Marvel learn that Wolverine currently does not have his healing factor. Because you have to remember, when it comes to Miss Marvel, she loves superheroes so much. And she knows a lot about different superheroes. And so she's like, hey, Wolverine, we have something in common. We both have healing factors. But he said, my healing factor is gone. And so with them going through those traps, and yes, they were able to overcome those traps, well, Wolverine is still injured because he does not have his healing factor. And that is very huge to say. But after a while, you actually have Wolverine admit that he actually likes Miss Marvel. And not that kind of like, I mean like he looks at her as a good hero, someone he could see himself teaming up with a lot of times down the road. But while she is trying to take care of him because he's kind of injured because he has no healing factor, that is the moment they get confronted by a gigantic alligator in the middle of the sewers. And so it's like, can this day get any worse? And so as we jump into Miss Marvel number 7, we actually see the two characters work together to actually defeat this gigantic crocodile. Now, I really like this moment for both characters. And the reason why is because for Miss Marvel, you have to remember, this is her first team up ever. And so right now, she is actually learning a lot from Wolverine. And one of the things that she is learning from him right now is how to adapt in different situations, which is really huge when it comes for superheroes. Because right now, she has to adapt on how she is going to fight against this alligator because her partner right now, Wolverine, has no healing factor. And so he really can't do too much because he is trying to recover from his earlier injuries. But either way, I also like this for Wolverine. And the reason why is because Wolverine is known for being like a father figure for a lot of characters. And what I mean by that is he's always there for 3 characters: Jubilee, Rogue, and Kitty Pryde. Sorry, 4 characters, X-23 as well. But he's always like this father figure to those characters. So to see him right now helping out Miss Marvel, he's kind of being like a father figure in a superhero mindset. are more like a big brother instead, making sure that she is actually able to handle her own business. And the longer he's with her, the more and more he realized that he actually cares for her as like a little sister. It's honestly pretty nice to see. And that is why I really like this moment for both characters. They're both doing great things together. And again, they are able to actually defeat the crocodile and move on with their day. But then you have Wolverine teach Kamala Khan more things about being a hero, because Kamala Khan is having a hard time being a hero because she hates to fight. She hates to cause pain to other people or animals. And with them actually killing that crocodile, it was kind of too much for her. But Wolverine said, listen, darling, this is the superhero life. You really don't have a choice here. You actually have to go out there and fight, because pain will be there in those battles. Pain for the villains or pain for you. But either way, pain is going to be there. It's something you have to overcome. Now, after that part, you then have Wolverine bring up the idea that Kamala Khan has taken the old name Miss Marvel away from Carol Danvers. Because remember, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s, Carol Danvers was Miss Marvel. She was the original Miss Marvel. But then she took up the mantle Captain Marvel. And so that left the Miss Marvel name out there for anyone to use. And so Kamala Khan took that name. And Wolverine's wondering, why in the world did you take that name? And she says, because I look up to Carol Danvers. When I met her, or when I saw her doing great things, it inspired me to be a hero. And so I owe who I am to her. And that is why I took up her name. And so it's kind of like, okay, that makes sense, because we know Kamala Khan loves superheroes so much. And so that leads into the moment where you have Wolverine and Ms. Marvel actually find a room. And when they get into this room only has 4 walls and a TV on one of them. The TV actually turns on, and surprise, it's the Inventor. And he says, listen, I need you guys for my future projects, but I'm not ready for you guys just yet. So I need to keep you guys busy for a tad bit longer. And so that begins the process of the walls actually moving in, hoping to crush Wolverine and Kamala Khan. Now, Wolverine was able to shut down the walls, but then you have Wolverine tell Kamala Khan, you need to follow the tubes in the TV wall to find a way out for us. Of course, when she goes in the wall to find a way out, that is when she finds Wolverine's missing student. Remember, the only reason why he is here is to basically save or find his missing student. And we come to find out that the Inventor is kidnapping teenagers and forcing them to be a way to power up his machines. You heard that right. He is using teenagers as a way to power up his machines through electricity. And listen, I'm going to break that down later on in this video. But for right now, Kamala Khan's like, oh my God, I found her. Wolverine is able to break through the wall. And then you have Kamala Khan, Wolverine, and the missing kid actually get out. And really, the last page for Wolverine and Kamala Khan team up is Wolverine really saying, hey, listen, kid, I like you a lot. You'll be a great hero one day. I owe you some food because you did so much for our team up. But either way, have a great day. I'm taking my missing kid home so that she can finally rest. Then we begin the process of Kamala Khan actually learning about her DNA, her genetics. And the reason why I say that is because we pick up with Medusa, the queen of the Inhumans. And this is the moment where I need to go back and explain what happened in our last video. So remember, in our last video, Kamala Khan was hit with something called a Terrigen Mist. The Terrigen Mist is heavily tied into the Inhumans, this race of humans on Earth. Now, the way the Inhumans get their powers, they get their powers from the Terrigen Mist, the same Terrigen Mist that hit Kamala Khan in our last video. Now, here's the thing though. In the early days of Marvel Comics, The Terrigen Mist was kept in some kind of container, and only a select few people across the world were able to go through the process of becoming an Inhuman with their abilities being unlocked thanks to the Terrigen Mist. But thanks to some Marvel events, the Terrigen Mist is no longer trapped in that capsule. It's now a cloud that just travels across the world. And so in our last video, that cloud actually hit Kamala Khan, which of course told us that she is an Inhuman. Now, here's the thing though. You have Steve Rogers actually meeting up with Medusa, the queen of the Inhumans. And you have Steve Rogers saying, I think it's best for you to bring her in, talk to her because she is actually one of your own. And Medusa said, I'll do that sooner or later. But for right now, I'm going to send her a companion. That companion is Lockjaw, the teleporting dog who is so cute. Oh my gosh, I'm a huge Lockjaw fan. But either way though, Lockjaw is going to be a super pet for Kamala Khan. And so of course, in the opening pages of Miss Marvel number 8, is really just Kamala Khan meeting Lockjaw the dog, because Lockjaw is so amazing. But when Lockjaw appears in the city, of course you have everyone else wondering, why is there a huge dog in the middle of the city? What is going on? But of course, when Lockjaw and Miss Marvel meet each other, Miss Marvel's like, oh my gosh, it's the cutest thing in the world. I have to take him home. And the next moment really reminds me of my family, because my family were not big on pets. And so when I brought a pet home, they were like, no, automatically. But for Kamala Khan, at first they do say no, but after a while they're like, fine, this huge dog can stay in our backyard, even though it's going to have a lot of folks questioning us where in the world this dog came from. But after getting her parents' approval, you do have her go upstairs. She calls Bruno, and her and Bruno work together to figure out, where did Wolverine student disappear at? Like, where was she actually kidnapped at? And of course, they go through her social media pages. And that is when they find out that she tagged herself at some random location. And for Bruno, he's like, that's weird. That location is really not on the map. I mean, it is, but there's nothing there important in that area. So why did she, pinpoint herself being there a couple of days ago? And so that means Kamala Khan must go figure it out. And you have Kamala Khan and Lockjaw actually go to that location where the girl was last seen at. And when they get there, the only thing they see is a rundown power plant. And so now the question is, why did she come here for? It's a rundown power plant. There's nothing special here for her. And so while they're trying to look around for some clues, that is the moment they get attacked by a gigantic robot. And so of course, Miss Marvel is getting another team up with Lockjaw, of all people, even though it's really cool. But you have Lockjaw and Miss Marvel actually work together to defeat this robot. But that leads into a huge moment. When they actually defeat the robot, they see another teenager who's trapped inside the robot. And just like Wolverine student earlier, this teenager is powering up the robot. And it's not like he's actually in there and like he has some kind of mutant power. No, he's unconscious. He's knocked out. And some way he's being able to power up the robot just like Wolverine's kid did earlier. And so the question is, how is the inventor being able to pull electricity from these teenagers to power up his machines? Either way, you have Lockjaw and Kamala Khan say, we need to take this kid to a nearby hospital. But while they're about to leave, a small robot actually sneaks in the sock or the pocket of Kamala Khan. And that tiny robot is going to be very important. And so you have Kamala Khan go to school because, hey, she's just a teenager who's a superhero. She still has to go to school, except when she gets to school, her teacher is like, you're late. Where in the world have you been? And Kamala Khan can't tell her teacher nothing, but at the same time, her friend Nakia wants to know, well, like, where have you been, girl? You've been late to school almost every day, and here you are again, late to school. Remember, the only person that knows Kamala Khan is Miss Marvel is Bruno and his brother Vic, because she saved Vic's life. But either way, that is the moment where you have a gigantic robot actually attack the place. And with this robot attacking, it's like, oh my gosh, why is this robot here for? And you have to remember that small robot that snuck into the pocket of Kamala Khan was basically a tracker, a way for the inventor to send something after her. Of course, it happened at school. But here's the thing though, because it was a surprise attack, she needs to recover. But here's the problem. As she's recovering, she realized she does not have her superhero outfit. It's somewhere else. And so she needs to use her powers to change her appearance. Remember, in our last video, she was able to change her appearance to look like Carol Danvers. And so right now, she is trying to do that one more time because she needs to deal with this robot. But with her body trying to heal up, her powers are not working properly. And so now it's like there's a gigantic robot here that could kill everyone here. I can't stop it because if I go out there to fight it, the world will know that me, Kamala Khan, is Miss Marvel. And so with Miss Marvel number 9, we actually pick up with Miss Marvel still freaking out because she has no idea what can she do. She can't use her powers to fight against a gigantic robot. She can't use her powers to actually change her appearance because right now her powers are trying to heal her up. Her healing factor. Now she's in luck that Lockjaw does appear, and with Lockjaw being here, Lockjaw can actually be a distraction for her so that she can actually fight against the gigantic robot, but also using the smoke in the air to cover her up as well too. Now, this is also the moment where she realized that for some reason she can no longer change her appearance at all. Like at first, she thought because it was her healing factor, but then she realized she can't change her appearance at all, and that is a huge thing. But either way, you actually have her being able to go toe-to-toe with that robot and actually defeat the robot. But once she did, of course, she passes out because she is extremely exhausted. After fighting last night, this morning, and now here at school, she's just extremely exhausted. Now, of course, the police arrive, and that is a huge problem because if the police see her, they'll know that she is Miss Marvel. Even with Bruno running through the lines to get to her, to hopefully wake her up, he's still freaking out because she can't wake up, and the police are about to walk up on them. That is when you have Lockjaw teleport in with Medusa, and Medusa tells Lockjaw, we're going to take Bruno and Kamala Khan somewhere else. Let's take them home to the Atelian, the home to the Inhumans. Now, we do jump over to the Atelian, where you actually have Bruno waiting for Miss Marvel to wake up, because once they got to the Atelian, it seems like the Inhumans put her in some kind of container as a way to speed up her healing process. But either way, though, that is the moment you have Bruno be confronted by Medusa and one of her servants, and his name is Venomous. I really hope I pronounced that name correctly. If not, well, please forgive me. Either way, you have Venomous actually wake up Kamala Khan to see how she is doing, which, of course, she is okay. And so she's 100% again. Either way, though, this is the moment where Kamala Khan actually learns that she is an Inhuman. Remember, she had no idea what she was. Matter of fact, she even says that she thought she was a mutant, that her powers just unlocked because of puberty. But of course, Medusa says, no, you are Inhuman. Like, I'm going to tell you where you came from. You came from here. Like, your genetics are tied to us. You are an Inhuman. And for her, she's kind of happy but sad at the same time because she feels like she's even weirder now because her genetics are actually tied into the Inhumans. But either way, though, you have Venomous say that it's best for her to stay here and let the Inhumans deal with the inventor. But of course, Kamala Khan says no, because I need to deal with him. He is my bad guy. He's in my city. And so she asks Lockjaw to, well, teleport her back to New Jersey so that she can deal with the Inventor. And so we dive into one of my favorite moments, and it's only 2 pages because when Kamala Khan gets home, of course, her parents are upset that she was not at the school when they came to pick her up after the school got attacked. But you have the mom bring up what she had go through to make sure that Kamala Khan and her brother had a good life. What I mean by that is you have Kamala Khan mother and father say how they left their old country to come to America to give their kids a better chance in life. But the problem is, though, here in this country, we have so many problems: guns, bombs, and the list goes on and on. Superheroes, robots, whatever. And so her mom is freaking out, but you have Kamala Khan being able to calm her mom down and say, everything is going to be okay. I did not mean to upset you. Now, here's the big thing. When Kamala Khan goes into her room, she sees that she has a new superhero outfit. And this outfit was made by someone named V. And we come to find out who V is. V, of course, is Vic, the brother to Bruno. And it makes sense that he knows Kamala Khan is Miss Marvel because in our last video, she actually saved him from a house. Matter of fact, you have Vic and Kamala Khan meet back up and go to that same house that she had to save Vic from in our last video. But either way, though, while they're there, they realize that the house is having a lot of commotion. A lot of things are happening. And that is when Vic says it is Harvest Day. Harvest Day is a very important day because that means a bunch of teenagers are all taken to the power plant we saw earlier. I had a hard time saying power plant. Sorry, y'all. But either way, so you have Kamala Khan freak out because to her mindset, that means more teenagers are about to be kidnapped and disappear from their families. And so that's when she jumps in and she tries to fight against some more robots. And we do get a few more pages of her and Lockjaw working together to defeat the robot. But once they do defeat the robot, that is when we get a huge bombshell, because the last page of Miss Marvel number 9 is when Miss Marvel actually is confronted by the kids who were supposed to be taken to the power plant. And you have the kids actually tell Miss Marvel that they actually volunteered to be here. They're like, hey, stop. We realize what you're trying to do. You're trying to save us, but I want to tell you, we do not need any saving. We actually came here to volunteer to help the Inventor out. And so you have the teens explain why they are here for. Why are they volunteering to help out the Inventor? And you have one the teens say, you have to remember, when it comes to humans, we let out a lot of body heat. But at the same time, we also release electrical fields as well. And so that explains why those 2 teenagers we saw earlier were basically batteries for different projects of the Inventor. But you have the teens say that with the world having so many problems, overpopulation, food hunger, and climate problems, that they feel like with them being the extra generation, they should just go ahead and give their lives over to science as a way to fix the world. They don't realize that when it comes to the Inventor, he's honestly just using them because, hey, it's free resources. But of course, while Miss Marvel is trying to explain that what they're doing is actually not that great, because the problem is the only thing they're going to do is give the first or the last generation more time on Earth for their comfort. What's the point in doing that? But either way, while she's trying to convince them to walk away from this project, that is the moment a bomb goes off. Of course, you have the teens explain that the Inventor had the place rigged to blow because just in case the place becomes compromised, he has a way to get rid of it. And so it blew up. But that is also the moment where you have another robot appear to, of course, battle against Kamala Khan. Now, with this happening, it's honestly Kamala Khan just getting used to the idea that she needs to adapt to every single situation that she is facing, something Wolverine had basically taught her in the earlier part of our book. But either way though, after a few pages of actually being able to go toe to toe with the robot, she's unable to actually defeat the robot. And also the robot is actually able to kidnap Lockjaw. And that is huge. Lockjaw has now been taken hostage. And for Kamala Khan, she can't believe she just let that happen right in front of her. Now, she does beg the teens to actually help her out. And the teens are at first like, why should we help you? We told you, we volunteered to do this. We do not want to be on this earth. We're causing the earth more problems. But then you have Miss Marvel ask them a question. What were you doing before you actually volunteered to actually help out the inventor? And you have all the teens explain their past jobs. And Kamala Khan's like, all your past jobs could literally help the earth out if you use your jobs in the correct way. And all the teens realize, oh my gosh, you're right. If we do that, the world could be saved. But either way, you have the teens actually agree to help out Kamala Khan to go save Lockjaw from the inventor before something bad could really happen to him. Now, when it comes to the inventor, we have to remember where his hideout is actually at. Of course, the power plant. Remember, the power plant was the last location Wolverine's student was seen at, and also the fact that Vic said that harvest day is when a bunch of teenagers are grabbed and taken to a power plant. And so you have Miss Marvel actually being able to go to the actual power plant and sneak into it before someone is able to actually see her. And so once Miss Marvel is able to sneak into the base, that is the moment where she is able to hide somewhere and overhear a conversation going on between the inventor and his assistant. Now, while she is listening in, this is the moment that shows us that what the teenager said earlier is actually correct. That basically the inventor has asked teenagers to volunteer because they are the wasteful generation. They're the main reason why the earth has so many problems, which is world hunger, the climate control, pollution, a lot of different things going on earth right now. But with that being said, you have the inventor saying that his plans is to use a new project called the Grid, and hopefully the Grid will get rid of all the teenagers in the world to hopefully fix all those problems. Now, you do have Kamala Khan actually crash into the room, and when she does, of course, that tells the inventor that she heard every single thing that he was telling his assistant. But also, that is the moment where you have all those teenagers just walk in, getting ready to back up Miss Marvel so that they can save Lockjaw and take down the inventor. But that is when you have the inventor reveal to us, to Miss Marvel and the rest of the teenagers, that he had a secret door. And once he opens that door, we see a bunch of teenagers all being held hostage right now. And of course, they're all getting ready to be used for the inventor's next big project. Now, when we jump into Miss Marvel number 11, the last issue we're going to cover for this video, you actually have Miss Marvel sit down with the inventor because the inventor is explaining what his new project is, which he calls it the Grid. The Grid is going to really get rid of teenagers across the world. Now, they have to be what he thinks are useless teenagers. Teenagers who are not going to be able to actually make the world better. And so if he gets rid of all these teenagers, then in reality, the world should start to get better. Here's the thing though, you have Miss Marvel point out that if he does this, he's basically committing murder. Yes, you're going to fix all the world problems right now, but at the same time, you're committing murder. That is still illegal. And on top of that as well, if he kills someone who he thinks is useless, he may not know that person could be what he is saying now, useless, but down the road, that person could be someone very special for the world. And so it's him also killing the future. And so you have Kamala Khan get very angry. And right when she's about to attack him, he reveals that he was also able to kidnap one of her close friends, Nakia. And that is huge. it makes her realize this man is very serious. Now, of course, you do have Miss Marvel actually attack the Inventor because, of course, he did kidnap her best friend. But once she does attack him, that is when she goes on to save her best friend, Nakia, which she does break Nakia out the container. But then it makes you realize that, oh my gosh, this man could have possibly killed someone because to him, that person was useless. But here comes the next big thing. For Kamala Khan, she begins to think that maybe all of this is just too big for her. Maybe she can't do this by herself. But then she realized she has no choice because she is the hero of the day. She has to find a way if she wants to actually, save everyone's lives at the moment. But then you have her call up Bruno. Now, she does not actually talk to Bruno because she hangs the phone up. But her doing that right there is a quick sign for him to realize, oh my gosh, she needs help. I need to call the police and send the police to her location at this exact moment. Of course, this leads into a huge battle between Kamala Khan, the Inventor, the teenagers, all of that. It's a huge mess of a battle. Not in a bad way. It's just, you have everyone there. So it's really messy and kind of hard to focus on just one group of people. But either way, though, after about a few pages, Kamala Khan is actually able to defeat the Inventor's project, save all the teenagers who are being held hostage, and then be like, hey, the day is over, man. You're going to jail. The cops have also arrived. The day is over for you, dude. And with the police arriving, you would think that, hey, the Inventor should be going to jail very soon. He's going to get arrested and come back as a bad guy again down the road. But actually, he doesn't because you have the Inventor run off, trying to get away from the cops. Unfortunately, a bunch of robot pieces fall on top of him, which of course means that the Inventor is now dead. But of course, we all know that in Marvel Comics, heroes nor villains stay dead forever. And finally, the book ends with Miss Marvel, the teenagers, the police, all being happy that they were able to get rid of the Inventor, save the day, and the day is officially done. And so we wrapped up Miss Marvel Volume 2. And so with that being said, I do hope Now we do jump over to Miss Marvel number 12, where we actually pick up with Loki meeting up with Odin and Freya. And the reason why, because Loki at this point in Marvel Comics was trying to be a good guy, but he was having a hard time being a good guy. I don't mean that he is going around and doing bad things. What I mean is that every mission that's given to him, he just fails. He fails every single mission, and so Freya thinks it'll be a good idea to send him down to Earth, to Midgard, but to Jersey City, the home to Miss Marvel. And the reason why, because that town has not been touched by the gods in a long time. But on top of that, because the Inventor, the bad guy in our last two videos that Miss Marvel actually fought and defeated, she wants to make sure there are no spies left around for him because he did mess with a bunch of teenagers. And so Loki's job is to go down there to make sure there are no more spies working for the Inventor. Now, when he gets down there, of course, he is sent to the high school that Miss Marvel goes to. But here's the problem. When Loki gets to town, he has no idea where the high school is at. And so some random man actually sends Loki to a spot where every single teenager apparently hangs out at. Of course, that is Bruno's job, the best friend to Miss Marvel. Now, this leads us right into the main idea of this storyline, because when Bruno arrives at the job that Bruno works at, he sees Bruno and Vic talking about how it is Valentine's Day. There's a big dance at the school, and Bruno wants to take Kamala Khan to the school dance because he always had a crush on her. Now, Vic tells his brother that is a bad idea because Kamala Khan doesn't even like you like that, for one. But on top of that, her parents are not going to allow her to go to a school dance with the boy, especially a boy outside of their culture. Now, on top of that, you actually have Kamala Khan come by because she's having a bad day. Bruno tries to ask her out in a friendly way to the dance, but of course he gets turned down. Kamala Khan leaves, and this just crushes Bruno so much. And Vic leaves as well, kind of like, dude, I told you, there's no way you're going to that dance with Kamala Khan. And you have Loki seeing all of this, and he's kind of like, okay, I can fix this. He said, listen, Bruno, I'm going to help you get the girl. We're going to write her a letter. Put that letter on her pillow. She'll have no idea who wrote the letter. And that means it'll make her want to come to the school dance. And when she gets there, she'll find out it was you. And bam, y'all two will be together forever. Now at first, Bruno is kind of down, but as the letter is being written out, the words that Loki is using are not modern language, or it's not words that are used in modern times. And so Bruno's kind of like, you sound like a creepy old man writing a letter to a teenage girl in modern time. This is going to be a bad idea. But of course, he really has no choice because Loki leaves with the letter and actually gives the letter over to Kamala Khan. Now, Kamala Khan does get the letter, and when she gets the letter, she realized that whoever wrote this letter is writing like an old man because the words that were used in the letter are not used in modern time. Of course, remember, Loki wrote the letter, not Bruno, but Loki wrote the letter to help Bruno out. But either way, this makes Kamala Khan wanting to know who wrote the letter. And so now she is going to go to the school dance to figure out who wrote that letter. Now, of course, when Kamala Khan and her friend get to the school, they see Loki and they see Bruno. But of course, that is the moment you really see Loki do the most craziest thing to do at a high school dance, which is he poured truth serum into the school punch. And so with everyone drinking out of the punch, of course, they began to speak the truth to their dance partners, boyfriend, girlfriends, whoever, and it starts a huge mess. Now, of course, with the school going in madness, that means Kamala Khan has to change into her Miss Marvel outfit to fight against Loki because what he did is really messed up. Now, to Loki, he's kind of like, listen, I'm just helping out. I'm trying to help these teenagers out by go ahead and speaking the truth because they're too scared to speak the truth. Now, this does lead into a big battle between the two characters, which really is kind of funny because it's Loki going against Miss Marvel. And Miss Marvel, she's still new to this, guys. She's still a new hero at this point in Marvel Comics. And so now she must battle against Loki, who could be a really strong opponent. But because the way the story is written and Loki is trying to be a good guy, he does not really become a true challenge for Miss Marvel. Because at the end of their battle, a random teenager is able to pour him with a bunch of punch. And of course, that punch was still holding the truth serum. And so that begins the process of Loki speaking the truth about anything on his mind. Now, once their battle is actually done, you do have Loki tell Miss Marvel why he poured that truth serum in the punch. Of course, we already know why, because he was trying to help out a bunch of teenagers, but he didn't tell Miss Marvel that he was sent by his parents to come down to Midgard to make sure there were no spies here at the high school anymore that could be working for the Inventor. Of course, again, Miss Marvel's bad guy from the previous two videos. But after a while, you have Miss Marvel actually able to speak some sense into Loki's mind, and Loki does do a magic spell as a way to protect the school just in case the Inventor does try to attack the school one more time or try to kidnap more teenagers from the school. But then he leaves, and you have Bruno make sure Miss Marvel's okay, and she also leaves saying goodbye to Bruno, but once again, Bruno is unable to get get the girl that he actually wanted. And so we actually pick up with Miss Marvel number 13, where we see Kamala Khan right now getting some training by the Inhumans. Now remember, she just learned about the Inhumans in our last video. She had no idea she was an Inhuman until she met Medusa, the queen of the Inhumans, and now you have Medusa actually training her, which is a great thing because when it comes to Kamala Khan, she is a new hero. She needs all hands on deck to make her better, to make her a better hero. And Medusa actually really likes Kamala Khan and sees a bright future for her down the road. Now, when Kamala Khan actually gets back home to her house, that is when she is confronted by her parents. Now, her parents tell her she needs to go upstairs and get ready. And the reason why, because they have company coming over. Some of her parents' friends have moved back from Houston to Jersey City, and they have a son as well around the same age as Kamala Khan. Now, this is not Kamala Khan's parents saying, hey, go upstairs and get ready, because their son and you could possibly get married down the road. Instead, it's them saying, go upstairs and get ready and look nice so that we do not look like a bunch of crazy people who look messy. And so when Kamala Khan goes upstairs, get ready, and comes back down and she meets the boy, she instantly falls in love because this boy, one, looks great, but two, he is also a nerd just like her. And that is huge. Now, of course, this becomes a problem for Kamala Khan's father because this is his daughter. He's not ready for his daughter to date. And so, of course, with her now falling in love with this boy, he's kind of like, wait a second. A moment ago, you were so not down for this. And now you meet him. He's cute. He's a nerd. And now you're down for him? Hold up, no. Now you do have this boy actually ask Kamala Khan to go somewhere with her, some kind of nerdy place. And of course she says yes, but her dad says no. But then she says, fine, can I bring my brother along to be kind of like a chaperone to make sure we do not do anything that you may not like us to do? And so of course her father says yes, but we all know her father is like, I really do not like my daughter going out with a boy, even with her brother around. Now, the boy name is Kamran, and I really hope I pronounce his name correctly. But either way, you do have Kamran and Kamala walking to their destination, but beginning to like each other even more. There is even a moment where they're about to hold hands. And you're kind of like, wait, are they going to be a couple? But of course, with Kamala Khan's brother Amir being there, he shuts that down so fast, man, it's not even funny at all. He's being that good big brother. He's like, nah, there ain't no way my little sister is going to have a boyfriend at the age of 16, even though most teenage girls usually do. And of course, wherever Miss Marvel goes, there is always trouble nearby. And so with that, we get our first look of Kaboom. Now, Kaboom, of course, is a new character made just for this book and the next book after, but to also be a new villain for Miss Marvel to add to her rogue gallery. Now, Kaboom is actually Inhuman as well, just like Miss Marvel. Matter of fact, Miss Marvel learns that when she does change into her Miss Marvel outfit to go out there to fight Kaboom. But once she gets out there to fight against Kaboom, and Kaboom tells her that, like, yeah, hey, I am also Inhuman just like you, Miss Marvel is confused because to her, Medusa is the queen to all Inhumans. And so why is Kaboom out here attacking innocent people? Matter of fact, regular humans that she says she does not like. Why is she doing that? And this leads into a big lesson for Miss Marvel because she had no idea there are multiple fractions out there when it comes to the Inhumans, different groups across the world, and not all groups actually listen to Black Bolt nor Medusa. They have their own rules, their own leaders. They do not follow under Black Bolt nor Medusa. And so you have Kaboom saying, I'm in a different group of Inhumans. I follow a different group that is going to lead our race in the correct direction and get rid of the human beings. And so with that being said, you have Miss Marvel and Kaboom actually fight against each other. They do go back and forth for a while, and it does last for a good few moments. But after a while, you actually do have Kamala Khan being able to defeat Kaboom. But when she does, she kind of hits Kaboom a little bit too hard. And that is when you have Kamala Khan realize she has to watch how she uses her powers, because if she uses her full strength, she can actually possibly kill someone down the road. She needs to hold her punches. But either way, she has to leave the scene after defeating Kaboom, because her brother Amir and her date Kamran are looking for her. Now here comes the big moment, because you actually do have Kamala Khan change back into her regular clothes to go meet back up with her brother and Kamran. But here's the problem. Kamran actually saw her change, so he knows that she is Miss Marvel. And so he said, "Hey Amir, can I talk to your sister Kamala just for a tad second by ourselves?" And he does pull her over to the side to tell her, "Hey, I saw you change into Miss Marvel. I know who you are." And Kamala Khan freaks out a tad bit, because she knew sooner or later someone was going to figure out that she was Miss Marvel. But that is not the big moment of this part right here. The big moment is you have Kamran reveal that he is also inhuman, just like her. He has his own set of powers. Now you do have Kamran explain to Kamala Khan when he got his powers, and he says that he left his window open the same night Kamala Khan was outside, and that is the moment when the Terrican Mist actually went through his window and got him, and of course turned him into an inhuman. But before he is actually able to explain more or about his powers to Kamala Khan, Amir, the brother to Kamala Khan, says, "Date's over, we're all going home, I'm done, let's go." And so of course they all go home. But of course the next moment is at nighttime, and we see Kamran come by Kamala's place to actually take her out, make her sneak out at night so that they are able to have a one-on-one conversation. And he does take her to a water tower that apparently she just kind of went by but never used her powers to sit on top of it, because when they go there, they do get this great view, which makes things very romantic for both characters. Now, this is the moment where you actually have Kamala Khan ask Kamran, can he explain his powers to her? Like, how does his powers work? And honestly, I kind of say he's kind of like Gambit, but a tad bit different, because he's able to make things explode, but he has to make things charge up, just like Gambit does over in the X-Men comics. But either way, this is kind of the beginning of Kamala Khan saying, maybe I have a boyfriend now. Maybe I can be with this person. And matter of fact, they almost kiss. They literally almost kiss. But once again, their moment is ruined for them because the police arrive and they're kind of like, hey, you guys cannot be on top of the water tower. You need to leave. And so they go home. Now we do jump forward to the next day where we actually pick up with Kamala Khan and Amir waiting for the bus. Of course, Kamala Khan is going to school and Amir has an interview. Now they are confronted by Bruno, but before that conversation can begin and go on, that is the moment where you have Kamar pop up in a car and offering Kamala Khan a ride to school. Now Amir and Bruno both say no, but for different reasons. Bruno says no because he really likes Kamala Khan. Amir says no because, well, he is the big brother. But either way, you have Kamala Khan get in the car with Kamar and they drive off. Now, this is a big moment for Bruno. And the reason why, because when it comes to Amir, he knows that Bruno likes his sister Kamala Khan. But he has to explain to Bruno there is no way him and Kamala Khan will get together because, again, her parents will not allow it. she cannot date boys, especially boys outside of their culture. And so Amir is just shutting down the dream that Bruno had for him and Kamala down the road. Now, you do have Kamala Khan realize that Kamar is not a good guy. And the reason why I say that is because you have Kamar take Kamala Khan to the pier, not to school, like she's supposed to be at right now. And so Kamala Khan realized something is up. And you have Kamar say that he wants Kamala Khan to meet someone. Now, of course, she says no, but Kamala Khan learns more about Kamar because Kamar says that he believes that Kaboom was correct, that the Inhumans should take over the Earth, that humans do not belong here. And so, of course, he's a bad guy. Now, Kamala Khan tries to leave, but Kamar was able to send a small shock or a small explosion just big enough to knock out Kamala Khan so that he can take her in and take her to meet his boss. And so when she wakes up, she's now somewhere in some kind of basement locked up. And she's wondering, where in the world am I? Why am I here? What in the world is going on? And so when she breaks out of her prison, of course, she does meet a bunch of bodyguards. And these bodyguards do not really stand a chance against her because it's Miss Marvel. She knows how to use her powers now to fight against certain people. But after a few pages of mayhem of her fighting against these different bodyguards, she does run into a room where she does see Kamar, Kaboom together, but with their leader, and his name is Lineage. And this is the moment we learn a tad bit more about Lineage, Kaboom, and Kamar. Now we do jump over to Miss Marvel number 15. And when we do, it is Kamala Khan getting the chance to actually learn more about Lineage at this moment right here. And you have Lineage tell her that he is trying to change things across the world for all Inhumans, especially here at the new Inhuman home, of course known as New Attilan. Now he does mention that Medusa, the Queen of Inhumans, and Black Bolt, the King of Inhumans, they're just not the right people to be in charge of all Inhumans. And so really, it is him hoping that he can take their place, but also change the world all over for the Inhumans. Now, he does tell Kamala Khan that she is actually very powerful, but then you have Kamala Khan asking him, can she make one quick phone call? Now, of course, she does call Bruno, which makes sense because him and her have a code where she calls his phone, it rings twice, and then she hangs up. That tells him that she's in danger. And so Bruno leaves class to go find his best friend because they're best friends. They have each other's locations on their phones. And so he is hoping that can help him find her and actually save her. At the meantime, she realized she might need to buy some time so that Bruno can come save her. And so, of course, she does cause a scene to run away from Lineage, Kerman, and also Kaboom. I forgot her name. Wow, Kaboom. And so the next few pages really jump back and forth between Kamala Khan and Bruno, where you have Bruno trying to find the location of Kamala Khan. Now he is lucky to find her location, and he realized where she's at right now. She's on New Attilan. Here's the problem. New Attilan, the main home for all Inhumans, is in the middle of the river in New York. And so now he needs a boat to just get there. But at the same time, Kamala Khan, well, she is trying to find a way out, but she runs into Kaboom. And so now she needs to lose Kaboom. And what she does is she takes Kaboom into the same room Medusa used as a way to train Kamala Khan. We saw this at the very beginning of our video, but either way, you have Kamala Khan use this room to keep Kaboom busy so that she can continue to find a way out of here. And right after that, she does run into Cameron, and that is a huge problem because for her, Cameron was this dream guy, this guy that she was going to date, this guy who she fell madly in love with because he liked everything she liked. He understood what it felt like to be in the culture as a teenager. He understood her so well, but of course it was all a lie. And so now she must fight against this guy and hopefully beat him. And so of course we do get a big fight between these two characters for the next few pages. They go back and forth, but at the end, Kamala Khan is actually able to defeat the guy who she thought would be her future boyfriend or husband, whoever. She was actually able to get rid of him. Now you do have Lineage being able to catch up to Cameron, and he tells him, let Kamala Khan go. Now for Cameron, he's kind of like, what do you mean let her go? You said we need her because how powerful she is. And that is the moment you have Lineage say, yes, she is powerful, but there is someone else in her family just as powerful. Meaning that there is someone else in her family that is also an inhuman, and that means that person could possibly be taken by Lineage down the road. Now, really, the story kind of ends on that note right there because you do have Kamala Khan being able to find Bruno, and they do go out the garbage disposal that leads them back into the river. So they did find a way out, but that's how the book ends, with the two of them being able to go back home to see another day. And honestly, the next volume is known as The Last Days of Miss Marvel. And what that means is it takes place right before 2015 Secret Wars, which we are covering right now at this moment. And so you're going to see what happens really at the end of that event in our next video for So to begin today's video, we actually pick up with Miss Marvel number 16. Now with this issue right here, we learned that it has been some time since our last video, about 3 weeks. And if you are new to my channel and just watching this video, I do recommend going back and watching the last one or just watching the whole entire playlist for Miss Marvel. But the reason why I'm saying that because in our last video, Kamala Khan met a boy named Cameron, and she thought that Cameron was a good guy, and matter of fact, she really did like him and hoping to become his girlfriend. But come to find out that he is an evil Inhuman and he is working for someone known as Lineage, who wants to use the Inhumans as a way to take over the Earth. And so this is her kind of still feeling sad about that moment because she really did like Cameron and she thought it was going to go somewhere and hopefully have a boyfriend, but to only end up having that guy to become another supervillain for her to fight against. But that is the moment where she has to stop thinking about Cameron and actually deal with a different situation. Because the reason why I say that is you have a lot of people running away and she has no idea what in the world is happening. Why is everyone running away from a certain direction? And so with that, she does change into her Miss Marvel outfit to actually travel across the river to go figure out what in the world has everyone freaking out for, because it is not a small crowd. It's a big group of people just running away, and she has no idea what in the world is going on. And that is the moment where she finds out that there is an Earth about to crash into the main Marvel Universe Earth. Of course, this means that this is an incursion. And matter of fact, we are actually learning about these incursions right now in our Jonathan Hickman Avengers and New Avengers videos. So go check those out as well. But either way, you actually have her right now freaking out because she sees an Earth about to crash into the main Marvel Universe Earth. And usually when that happens around this time in Marvel Comics, if both Earths collide, that means both universes of each Earth is also gone as well, which means we're about to see two universes say goodbye in a matter of hours. And so of course, she knows why everyone is freaking out now. Now for Miss Marvel, she has no idea what in the world is going on, because remember, she is still a new superhero. She is not on the Avengers at all, but she does know one thing. With the world about to end, of course, people are going crazy, and there are two kinds of people in this world. The first ones are the ones who go into hiding or run away, and the second kind are the people who believe in doing crimes because they know the world is about to end. There is going to be no punishment except death at the end of the world. And so right now they're trying to live what they think the best moments of their lives. And so right now you have people going around committing crimes left and right. And so Miss Marvel begins the process of checking up on different people, but trying to get them to a safe spot. And so she goes to Bruno first. And when she goes to Bruno, of course, she comes to find out that Bruno and his brother Vic have been protecting his store from different looters. Now, you do have Bruno actually tell Miss Marvel, you need to go check up on your family. They could be hurt or something. And of course, she does leave. And things are only going to get worse for Miss Marvel, because when she gets home, that is the moment she realized no one is answering her call. And when she turns the corner into her house, she is confronted by Cameron. And remember, Cameron was the big bad guy in our last video. He was the guy she really liked and thought he'll become her new boyfriend. But of course, he became a bad guy who is working for a different bad guy known as Lineage. And their group of bad guys are trying to use Inhumans as a way to take over the Earth. Now, they wanted Kamala Khan to actually join them, but of course, she said no. But with her saying no, they said, fine, we'll just grab a different family member who is also an Inhuman. Of course, that person is her brother. Her brother is also an Inhuman. And so with that, they're going to give him the Terrigen Mist that usually unlocks Inhumans' powers, and hopefully he'll join their side to take over the Earth. And right now, she can't do anything because she knows if she fights against Cameron, she'll never find her brother. He already been kidnapped and placed somewhere else. And so Cameron tells her, just stay here, take care of your parents, and yeah, later, bye. Now, Kamala Khan parents finally come down and they want to know what in the world is going on. But you have Kamala Khan realizing she can't tell them that, hey, the Earth is about to end. On top of that, your son, my brother, has been kidnapped. The only thing she can do is say, hey, go to my school. My school is right now being used as a shelter. Go there, stay there, because that is technically the safe zone from the world right now, from the city, sorry. And so she leaves because now she must go out there in the city to save other people's lives, but to also find her brother and get him somewhere safe as well. Now, I highly recommend you guys to actually go check out our last video because you do have the school actually be protected by a spell that Loki left behind. Remember, in our last video, Loki actually came to the high school looking for any more bad guys that could possibly be working for the Inventor, Miss Marvel's first bad guy. But when he got there, of course, he was playing around, he was stopped by Miss Marvel, but before he left a protection spell for the whole high school from bad guys. And right now, when looters try to come back to fight against Bruno and different characters who are part of that high school, well, of course, Loki's spell works and begins the process of actually protecting the school from anybody else. And so by the time Miss Marvel gets there, well, their problems have been handled thanks to Loki's spell. Now, you do have Bruno actually show Kamala Khan what is going on inside the school. Of course, the school is being used as a shelter, and he is showing her all the different resources they were able to grab to make this a useful place for some people to stay at. But for Kamala Khan, she kind of feels down right now because the world is ending and she really can't do anything about that. And on top of that, her brother has been kidnapped and she has no idea where to look for him. And so when she goes to the rooftop, hoping to get some fresh air and to clear her mind, well, That is the moment where she is finally going to meet the one character she always looked up to. That character, of course, is Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. Now we do jump over to Miss Marvel number 17, and this is huge because this is Kamala Khan actually meeting her idol. Remember, when it comes to Kamala Khan in the very beginning of our videos, she was a big Avengers fan, and so for her to right now meet Carol Danvers, the one person she cared about the most, it's huge for her. She's kind of like, oh my gosh, Carol Danvers is here. But on top of that, remember, Kamala Khan took the name Miss Marvel, and that name used to belong to Carol Danvers when she was a hero at first. But either way, you have Carol Danvers here as a way to make sure that other cities are doing okay, because she knows what is going on. She's part of the Avengers. She knows almost everything about the incursions. She knows the Earth is about to be wiped out and nothing can be done to save it. And so right now, it's really Carol Danvers saying, hey, listen, I'm just here to help out, make sure everyone's okay, but I'm about to leave later. But then you have Kamala Khan actually ask Carol Danvers, can she help her find her brother, Amir? Because Amir has been kidnapped and she wants to actually find her brother just in case the world does not end. And at first you have Carol Khan like, no, I cannot help out. I'm trying to save the Earth. That's more important than your brother. But of course, she kind of feels bad for Kamala Khan and agreed to actually help Kamala Khan find her brother. Now, you don't have the book actually dive into the idea of using these two characters to go around to find clues that could lead them to find Amir. Instead, you actually have the book being used as a way for these characters to make the city better. What I mean is, remember, with the Earth about to end, you have people out there doing crimes because they know the Earth is going to end. They're not scared of punishment because the Earth is about to be wiped out. But you have Carol Danvers and Miss Marvel actually come by to more looters and saying, what are y'all doing? Use your skills as a way to make the world a better place, to make the city a better place. Because just in case the world does not get destroyed, do you want to be on the bad side or the good side? Because if you're on the bad side, there is a possibility you'll go to jail. So why not use your skills to actually help make the city better for the time being? And so these looters actually go to help out the school, get more resources, and fix more things like technology because, hey, they need all hands on deck. Now, we do see Kamala Khan and Carol Danvers actually go to the pier. And the reason why, because in our last video, this is the same pier that Cameron had kidnapped Kamala Khan at. And so for Kamala Khan, maybe Cameron has some kind of storage unit and he's keeping Amir in that storage, and so they need to find him. But that is the moment where they're confronted by Kaboom. Now, we've met Kaboom in our last video as well. Kaboom works with Cameron and the two of them work for their boss Lineage. But for Kaboom, she's kind of like the weakest link in that group because you easily have Carol Danvers and Miss Marvel actually defeat her and begin the process of telling her, you need to tell me where we can find Cameron and my brother Amir. Where is Cameron actually holding him? And you have Kaboom just easily tell Kamala Khan, okay, fine, the two of them are in that warehouse right there. Now, once they get inside the warehouse, that is the moment they realize they're too late. And the reason why, because Cameron had begun the process of actually using the Terrigen Mist on Amir. Remember, the Terrigen Mist is what unlocks the Inhumans' powers. At first, they're just your basic human beings, but to unlock their powers, they must go through the Terrigen Mist process. And right now, that is what's happening to Amir. He's going through the Terrigen Mist process to unlock his inhuman powers. Now, when we jump over to Miss Marvel number 18, I do want to point out that Amir is actually very special. And the reason why I say that is because usually when an inhuman goes through the Terrigen Mist process, they usually pass out. And then their body is trapped inside some kind of cocoon. And when they break out of that cocoon, that is when they have their powers. But here comes the problem with Amir. He's not going inside cocoon. Like, he passes out from the Terrigen Mist and then his powers activate just like that. And so you have Kamala Khan wondering, hey, Karan, what did you do to my brother? I think you did something wrong. He's not going inside some kind of cocoon. He's just floating in midair, and it looks like his powers have actually activated. But of course, for Kamran, he's kind of like, who cares? The dude has powers now, and I can use those powers to help my group take over the world. And so, of course, that is the moment there is a big kind of explosion thanks to Amir. Now, this is a big moment because once you actually have Amir wake up completely, he realized, hey, I have powers and I have some kind of psychic force fields around me. But that is the moment he realized that Kamran was the one that kind of turned on his powers. But this moment right here is actually very important because we learn Amir never wanted powers. He hated the superhero world. He's kind of like, dude, I just want to be a regular dude, a regular man who gets married and move on with his life. That's all I wanted. And basically, you forced me, Kamran, you forced me into some kind of Terrigen Mist that unlocked my powers. And now I have some kind of psychic force field powers that, again, I did not ask for. On top of that, I still don't like you because I can tell you did something to my sister weeks ago. Of course, he's kind of going back to how Kamala Khan had been acting between our two videos. But either way, you actually have Amir and Kamran fight against each other while Carol Danvers and Kamala Khan just watch. Now, this is not a big fight where you have two characters going all out and everything gets so epic. It honestly ends in about like one page because you have Amir being able to just throw Kamran on the ground to knock him out. And that is it. And then Amir also passes out as well. Now, I do want to mention one more thing before we actually move on. And it comes from Carol Danvers because she says there's a possibility Amir is not inhuman at all. And the reason why she says that is because he did not go through the cocoon process like Kamala Khan did or like most Inhumans go through. And so the reason why she is saying that is because of that. But she says the Terrigen Mist did activate his powers, but in a different way, more kind of like a allergic reaction kind of way. But either way, you do have Kamala Khan actually take her brother back to the school to make sure he is okay by some kind of school nurse or doctor. Now, once they're able to actually get to the school, you do have Kamala Khan pass her brother off to Bruno to take him inside to make sure he is okay. But then you have Carol Danvers actually wanting to leave because, again, she kind of has to because the Avengers are all needed right now to deal with the incursion problem. But you actually have Carol Danvers say, hey, listen, you know, you're a great hero. You did a good job today. I do want to mention again that what is happening right now in Manhattan is basically the end for the whole entire universe. But I do want to give you some kind of locket. Now, this locket actually has both symbols of both Carol Danvers and Ms. Marvel on it. But the locket is actually a GPS as a way for Carol Danvers to kind of check up on Kamala Khan if they are actually able to save the Earth from being destroyed. Of course, we know that's not going to happen. But either way, you do kind of have this goodbye between Carol Danvers and Kamala Khan. But really, it's a good goodbye. And also Kamala Khan finally getting the torch passed on to her by Carol Danvers. And so that is why I really like this moment very well. And this actually lead us up into the big moment of the book. The one I was kind of like, oh my God. And the reason why I say that is because it's not Kamala Khan actually going inside to make sure her brother is okay. No, it comes after that, because once she leaves the room, that is when she is confronted by her parents, who had finally arrived at the school, but they got word that something happened to their son. And so you have Kamala Khan's father actually go inside to make sure that his son is okay. But while his son is inside, of course, the mom is upset because she's kind of like, where were you? Why weren't you around to actually protect your brother? What has been going on? I want answers, Kamala Khan. What has been going on with you these last few weeks? And that is the moment where you actually have Kamala Khan tell her mom that she is Miss Marvel. But on top of that, that is the moment where you actually have Kamala Khan's mom say, I already knew. I've been known this whole time. Now, when we jump into Miss Marvel number 19, I must say I love this book so much. And the reason why I do is because the way the book was treated. What I mean is, the book was kind of treated like this could be the very last issue of Miss Marvel, because this leads us right into Secret Wars. And the rumors around this time in Marvel Comics was Secret Wars was supposed to be a way to reboot the Marvel Universe completely. But of course, Marvel did not do that. But with that being said, the way this book is treated is kind of like, hey, this is going to be a goodbye to Miss Marvel, because there could be a possibility of a reboot. But either way, it's Kamala Khan's mom saying, hey, I've been known you were Miss Marvel. It was kind of obvious. Every time you were somewhere, of course, Miss Marvel appears. You kept sneaking out at night, and I kind of like, yeah, she's Miss Marvel. And so this is her mom saying, I've been known, and honestly, I'm proud of you, because I realize you are doing great things. You're going actually out there to help different people in need. And that is something I'm honored to say my daughter does for the world. And it's kind of like, dang, that's a good part. That's a good moment right there. Now, her dad has no idea. Her dad has no idea that she is Miss Marvel. He comes out, he's angry about what happened to his son and everything else. But honestly, it's just a good moment between Miss Marvel and her mother. Now, we do get into the awkward moment of this book. Not really awkward, but kind of like, okay, Bruno, this is your time to shine. Because remember, Bruno had been having a crush on Kamala Khan throughout this whole series, and he has not once actually told her. And so when she asked him, if there's anything he could do differently before the world ends, Bruno says, honestly, I would just go to an arcade, play games all day, but with you. Matter of fact, I will go anywhere with you. And Kamala Khan knows, oh yeah, that's right. Bruno likes me, I like him, but unfortunately, I can't tell him I'm not brave enough. I'm not ready to have this conversation because the world is about to end. And so she walks away to go to the school gym. Now, Kamala Khan actually runs into Zoe. Now, remember, Zoe was the girl Kamala Khan saved in our very first video. And the way Zoe was kind of given to us, it made it seem like she was that popular girl who pretended to be friends with everyone, but at the same time, she was kind of mean to girls and guys who weren't really popular. And so this is Zoe kind of coming over to Kamala Khan and just saying sorry for how the way she acted, because with the world ending, it's making people realize about their past actions, being like, hey, I was a jerk at that moment and also that time as well. Maybe I should go over there and actually apologize for the way I acted in the past. And so right now, that's what Zoe's doing. And Kamala Khan's kind of like, yeah, I understand, and thank you for finally apologizing for being a jerk. But then you have Kamala Khan actually go check up on Nakia. Now remember, Nakia is the other best friend of Kamala Khan. There's Bruno and there's also Nakia. Now Nakia has no idea that Kamala Khan is Miss Marvel. And matter of fact, I really thought at this moment right here, Kamala Khan was going to tell Nakia that she is Miss Marvel. Her mom now knows. Bruno knows. Why not tell your other best friend that you are Miss Marvel? But of course, she does not. But Nakia is kind of upset with Kamala Khan because she knows something is up with Kamala Khan because Kamala Khan is always missing, always doing something, and not always telling Nakia the truth. But either way, these two characters are actually able to make amends with one another and continue to be friends later on in this issue. Now, this leads us right into the biggest moment of the book, I say. Kamala Khan and Bruno having that conversation where they tell each other that they love each other, which to me, I was kind of like, man, just straight up love each other right off the bat. Like, y'all should date first to make sure you actually love each other. But you know, teenagers. Anyways, you do have Bruno and Kamala Khan actually tell each other they love each other, which is huge for these two characters because we could tell all series long that these two had feelings for one another. Now, you would think that these two characters would actually get together because they just admitted they had feelings for each other. But in reality, you have Kamala Khan actually tell Bruno she can't be with him. And it's not because of her religion or her parents. It's because of her being Miss Marvel. Because she realized she must put everything she has into being Miss Marvel. It's her trying to be a hero, trying to protect their city. And for Bruno, he understands. Even though he loves this woman so much and he cares for her and wants to be with her, he understands that she's a hero. And right now, a hero life comes first than her love life. And so the book really ends with a big bright light, letting us know the incursions have actually happened. The Earths are being destroyed, but these two are saying their love to each other. And that is how the book ends. And this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please hit the like button down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video.